Hello everyone, this is Gage from Gondorian Smith, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys another 3rd Age Reforged online multiplayer battle replay. And this one is a 2 versus 2 on the 0.96 test patch, so this is going to be a very cool video today, and I was given permission to upload this, so that is why I'm doing this today. And anyway, this is also cool because it is a Orc versus Orc kind of battle, so it will be pretty interesting to see how it turns out. But anyway, the first of the Orc armies is Mordor, being commanded by Lengo, so we can go ahead and go into his army compositions first. He's got 2 units of the Orc Javelins on either side. He's got some Sauron's Will. He's got some AP Temple Guard for his general. He's got 2 units of some cheap trolls, that being Mountain Trolls. He's got 2 units of cheap AP, being Orc Maulers. He's got 2 units of the Orc Fodder, 1 unit of the Mornon Archers, 2 units of Orc Archers. And in his front line, he's got 2 units of the Mornon Infantry, backing up 1 unit of the Mornon Halberds. For his cavalry, oh, he also has 1 ballista right there. But for his cavalry, he has over here both in Numenorian types of cavalry. He's got 1 unit of the Numenorian Lancers with their very cool unit model upgrade. Actually, I think they're not. I don't think this is an armor upgrade. I think they just look like this now, but it's very cool nonetheless. Over here, he's also got some melee cav, that being the Temple Inquisitors, who should do very well against units like Wargs, who are themselves very good at killing enemy cavalry. But that will pretty much do it for his army, so we can now go ahead and go over to mine. And once again, I'm going to be playing as Isengard. I really do enjoy playing as Isengard, but this will probably be my last video where I play as them because I don't want to oversaturate you guys with Isengard. But anyway, I've got 2 units of the Uruk-hai Pikemen being backed by 1 unit of Uruk-hai Raiders. I've got 2 units of Uruk-hai Raiders total. The other one's right over here. I've got some cheap Dunlending Clansmen spears out in the front to protect from any frontal charges. I've got 2 units of the Uruk-hai Crossbows who have a very nice new helmet, actually, that I think looks a lot better for them. I've got 1 unit of the Uruk-hai Berserkers with both armor upgrades, a very expensive but elite melee unit. They are AP, they can chant and inspire friendlies around them, and I think they also inspire fear in their enemies, so they are very, very good. They've also got multiple hit points to protect them from a little bit of skirmish fire, as well as the 2 armor upgrades really helps them out with that. Also got 2 units of cheap AP back here, being the 2 units of Uruk-hai Reavers. And I've got 4 units of the Uruk-hai Infantry, who should also do quite well. For my cavalry, I've got 1 unit of the Champions of the White Hand, which is where my general is. You can see him right up there. And I've also got 2 units of the Warg Riders, but that will do it for my army, so we can now go over to the first of the next armies. That being the Misty Mountains, being commanded by Melkor. So he's got the full 6 units, I believe, of the Heavy Goblin Infantry. He's also got 2 units of the Goblin Archers, as well as maybe 2 units of the Goblin Infantry, like light infantry, just out here in the front hiding to protect from any frontal charges. He's also got 4 units, I believe, of the Heavy Goblin Spears, who are an incredible unit. Not only do they each have 253 men in the unit and have shield wall, but they are also AP, so they are incredibly good at pushing, and because of their AP, they can do very well against heavily armored targets. He also has 2 units of the Cave Trolls back here, as well as 1 unit of the Bolg's Champions for his general. He's also got some Drake Broodlings over here, looking very nice. Those guys are going to do a lot of damage to our forces. He also has 1 Orc Ballista. Well, you can't really see it, but he does have it there. He's also got 1 unit of the Heavy Goblin Crossbows, as well as 1 unit of the Warg Skirmishers. And it's something kind of cool to know is the difference between the Wargs of the North and the Wargs of, say, Isengard. They look very different. You can see these ones are mostly white and gray, whereas my Wargs are mostly all brown. Which I thought that was kind of a cool thing. It also helps in the actual battle, just so you could tell whose wargs are whose. Anyway, the next army is going to be the Witch Realm of Angmar, being commanded by UMAT Commander. If you guys do not know who he is, definitely check out his channel. The link to that will be down in the description below. But anyway, he has 2 units of the Warg Riders as well. He's also got 1 unit of the Witch Realm Inquisitors for his general. He's got 3 units of the Angmar Marauders, who have been given a new model that looks very nice, I must say. He also has 3 units of the Angmar Halberds, who, like the Marauders, have been given a new model. He also has a front line of 3 units of the Guardians of Carndum, as well as 2 units of Witch Realm Pikes. He's got 1 unit of his own Orc Ballista that is already firing, and he's also got, well, I think 1 unit of the cheapest, like lowest tier archer, like Snaga archers or something. He also could have a hidden unit of Snaga archers as well. But that will pretty much do it for his army comp, so we can go ahead and go into the replay itself. This one will start off actually kind of slow, mostly because of the fact that both Umad and Melkor have ballistas, but I assure you it is a very cool battle indeed. I am going to be pulling back to my Warg Riders and Champions of the White Hand because I do not want them to get killed right away. I'm also going to be putting them into loose formation, and I will very shortly be putting my Pikes into loose formation as well, because obviously this would be a very good target for the Orc Ballista. Something to note about the Orc Ballista, though, is that it is a very inaccurate. However, once it does hit, it does a huge amount of damage, as you will see pretty shortly here. You can see the Orc Ballista already firing. Looks like he's going to be going after my Uruk-hai infantry, which is not a bad idea because I didn't want to spread myself out against Angmar because Angmar is really good at surrounding. So I kind of want to have more of a thicker line, but because of that, it will allow my Uruk-hai infantry to get wrecked pretty hard by the ballista. So I'm going to try to reform them into a better position. I'm also going to be retreating with my Uruk-hai berserkers because I do not want them to get targeted as well. You can see Lango is moving up with some of his archers as well as his ballista. I'm going to try to get into range of some of the enemy units. And also something to note about the Witch Realm of Angmar, they were previously known as Gundabad, and I really do like Angmar. I think they're a very good faction. You can see the Snaga archers moving forward now. Orc ballista still just firing back there. I think might have hit a couple crossbows, looks like. Snaga archers going to move up. Look like they might want to try to target down the Orc ballista crew. You can see the Orc ballista crew of Lango is struggling a little bit, having some issues getting into formation. Same with my own crossbows, though, it looks like. But yeah, I really do like Angmar. I think they're a very good faction, especially with all the new things that they have been getting. Makes them very cool. I'm actually going to be pushing forward a unit of Ward Riders here to try to scare away the Snaga archers. I know these guys aren't going to be able to catch the Snaga archers, but they will at least be able to make the archers run away. The Ward Riders were ready to counter that, however. Yeah, it will start relatively slowly just because of all the ballista firing, but it will it will get very, very deadly pretty shortly here. Well, actually not very shortly here, but it will get deadly once the ballistas are out of ammo. Or destroyed. And Alango is actually going to be sending over a unit of his own Orc archers over to me, which is very nice because my crossbows do not have a lot of range. I did give them an armor upgrade, but if UMAD decided to target something like my pikes, I would be in a very bad position indeed. I also had to retreat, I think, with my berserkers, yes, and crossbows because they were getting targeted by the ballista. I've also got my berserkers chanting, trying to give some morale boosts to the rest of my forces. Yes, and the Orc archers are slowly but surely making their way over here. Over here, Lango also has his lancers in a nice position. They are turned around, but that's fine. But if Melkor decides to push forward a little bit too far, his lancers will be here to punish him for that. You can see that so far it's been a kind of a slow approach. You can see that Melkor is kind of reforming his lines here to kind of get a little bit closer to UMAD to give him some support. Something to note is that both Lengo and I were in voice chat, and I'm like 90% positive that UMAD and Melkor were not. Heavy Goblin Spears and the crossbowmen marching forward. The ballista is also moving forward as well. I don't think Melkor's ballista has fired at all quite yet. The ballista of UMAD, though, is pushing forward pretty far. I think he's really trying to go after my berserkers here. Actually, it looks like he might be going after my wargs. He is, in fact, firing missiles now, so we will shortly see what he is firing at. Guardians of Karndum are a very good unit. They're kind of similar, actually, to the Uruk-hai infantry in a lot of ways. However, I think the Uruk-hai infantry can bring more of. I think like one more unit than the Guardians of Karndum. And the Uruk-hai infantry actually have more men in the unit as well, only by 10, but still. They're both very good, above average infantry for the Orcs, which is good because a lot of Orc infantry is not like that. Something like the Moron infantry is much, much worse than units like the Uruk-hai infantry. However, it is much cheaper and they have more men in the unit. And you can bring more of them. I think you can bring like 6 Moron infantry. Ooh. Ballista going for Uruk-hai infantry yet again. Because they're kind of in a block loose formation, they will take losses. Actually taking out a few of my Uruk-hai Reavers as well there. But again, another thing to know about the ballista is that while it is also inaccurate, it also does not have much ammo at all. It has enough to pay for itself, enough ammo to pay for itself, but you have to be careful with it, definitely. You can see his Snaga archers are moving around to maybe get closer to my wards, which would not be a bad idea at all because the wards are relatively weak to skirmish fire. If they have an armor upgrade, they won't take a lot of losses because of their hit points and the armor upgrade, but these guys actually I did not give armor upgrades. I gave them an attack upgrade instead. So against other wargs, they should have the slight edge, unless UMAT also gave his own wargs an attack upgrade. Over here we can take a look at the Inquisitors, the General of UMAT. I don't think these guys have changed in unit model. Doesn't look like it, no. But they are still, of course, a very, very deadly anti-cav unit. In a one-on-one against the champions of the White Hand, I would probably have to go with the champions, but I'm not positive. Because, I only say that because the Witch Realm Inquisitors have a shield and sword, which makes them slightly more defensive, whereas the champions have a two-handed sword, so they are a very, very offensive-minded unit. But still, I think it would be very close. 2 units of these Naga archers moving forward now around the edge, going to be getting supported by all of the cavalry of UMAT. You can also see that the Goblin archers of Melkor have also moved forward and are going to begin firing down on Mordor, but they are taking some losses. There are some Warg skirmishers here and Warg riders, maybe? No, just Warg skirmishers here to protect against any Lancer charges, like maybe from the Numenorean Lancers. Oh, but it looks like the Numenorean Lancers might be going after this unit of Goblin archers here. If that is the case, then it's going to be very bad for those archers. But no, Melkor was able to ward off the Lancers by just moving his Warg skirmishers slightly over to the other side. Over here you can see UMAT has got both units of his archers and 3 units of his cav all on the flank here. There's some hidden units coming out now, some Snaga stalkers. Snaga archers going to go into hiding because they're not quite in range of what they want to be firing at quite yet. Oh, but here comes a charge from the Lancers. You can see that the skirmishers are out of position, which is going to allow the Temple Inquisitors actually to get a charge off onto the Goblin archers. The Temple Inquisitors are a melee cav, so they're not going to get a great charge, but they are still definitely a very good unit. So they will do a okay job. Ooh, but they're taking a lot of arrows. Oof. And these guys do not have hit points. They do have good armor, but they do not have hit points, so that's going to be difficult for them. Ooh, but oh, it actually routed that whole unit, took out a bunch of and routed the unit, but they are now in range of both the skirmishers and the Goblin archers. Lancers really can't do much to help. Oh, and they are going to, in fact, take a javelin volley and will take out, ooh, quite a few of them here on this left side. Down to 43 men in the unit from 60, I believe. But they were able to completely destroy that whole unit of Goblin archers. There's still 100 of them left, so they probably will return. But they will, of course, be very, very weakened. Over here you can see some Bolgs champions and Drake broodlings rushing forward to scare away the Lancers that were coming a little bit too close for his liking. You can see the Warg riders and archers of UMAT are also getting a little bit closer. In fact, UMAT's archers are going to be definitely in range of pretty much anything he wants to target, except for maybe the Berserkers. Like, well, yeah, except for the units way back there, but he'll be able to definitely target my front lines over here. So you can see that the Orc archers of Lengo are coming over here to support me, and he is going to be very shortly firing down at these Snaga archers, who are in fact firing as well. We'll have to see what they are firing at, though. Using fire arrows, they are firing at the Orc archers. I saw that his wargs were getting a little bit too close to this canyon pass thing, so I did bring a unit of Warg riders over here, actually both units of Warg riders over here, to try to sandwich him if he did decide to go through here, but it was more just to make sure that he didn't push through there. You can see he's actually got some Snaga stalkers going around that way as well. And he is pushing forward with some Angmar halberds. Ooh, he's actually pushing forward with a lot of his infantry. He's got both units of Angmar marauders, well, 2 units of Angmar marauders, and 2 units of Angmar halberds moving forward. The Orc archers taking a lot of losses, unfortunately. And over here you can see that some infantry of Melkor might be moving up. Nope, I just thought they were moving up. Yeah, these archers have returned, now down to 90 men in the unit. Looks like some Warg skirmishers actually got impaled by the ballista there. So UMAT kind of splitting up his forces here, but as long as the Cav does stay here to support his low tier units like the Angmar Marauders and Angmar Halberds should do quite well. Just trying to reform his lines now. Guardians of Karndum going in with the Witch Realm Pikemen. Actually, they're retreating a little bit, so not quite sure what's going on there. However, over here you can see that, ooh, Melkor is really rushing forward. You can see back there the Drake Broodlings and Orcs Champions going against both units of Lango's Cav. The Lancers are going to have a difficult time there. Warg Skirmishers trying to target down the Ballista, and all the infantry is rushing forward as well. We can take a look over here now and see what's going on with the cavalry. The Drake Broodlings hunting down these Numenorean Lances. Ooh, but the Drake Broodlings are taking losses. There are trolls over here as well, and these guys are going to be very good against the cav, because trolls, as long as they do get stuck in melee with cav, will do very well. However, a lot of the infantry of Melkor is pushing forward now. Back there you can see that Umat is also pulling around a lot of his units around that side, mostly cavalry. I think I will slow it down a bit here, because this is where things do get pretty quick. The troll's going to crash straight into these poor orc fodder. There's also the Drake Broodlings here, just waiting for a good opportunity to charge. They're going to be getting targeted probably by the orc archers. The javelins over here as well might be able to do a lot of damage to them. So yeah, Melkor is just slowly, well not really slowly, but advancing his first line of infantry. He's actually sending over some infantry over to my side as well. This might be a slight mistake. So I have reformed my pike line here. And against the low tier units like the heavy goblin infantry, they will do very good. Yeah, the 2 units of heavy goblin infantry have been committed over on my side. We're actually going to catch out some orc archers. And over here you can see that Umat has made his way through this pass here, so I have to defend my entire backside with only these 3 units of warg riders. So he's going to be able to move around freely back there for the time being. But I also have some crossbows back there to get any shots off on anything that I wish. I've also got my Uruk-hai crossbows here. They were targeting the heavy goblin spears, I believe. But unfortunately, even though I told them to run away, only a few of them are running away, as you can see, so some of these guys will get caught out and cut down by the heavy goblin infantry. But it's okay, because most of the unit will escape, and that will lead these heavy goblin infantry to go straight into my pipeline. Over here you can see the infantry fight is pretty much beginning, or has begun. The orc fodder fighting hard against the cave trolls. They're going to have a difficult time over there. And elsewhere you can see the mountain trolls of Lengo beating down on the Bolg's champions, and this is the general's unit of the Misty Mountains over here. You can see Azog right there getting beat by 3 trolls and a Temple Inquisitor on all sides, so that may be the loss of Melkor's general right there. And yes, you can see that Umat has now also begun to advance with all of his forces. You can see his infantry just about to begin the fight with my own. Orc archers out here wavering because they kind of were forgotten about. My crossbows are back where I need them to be now, so they will be able to fire for as long as they want at whatever they want. Arcane infantry and heavy goblin spears going to crash into my pipeline. The heavy goblin spears are actually not going to try to shield wall through my pikemen, interestingly enough, so they will not be able to do a huge amount of damage. And yes, there goes Bolg. So that is going to be very, very bad for the Misty Mountains, who already have low morale as it is, and because he doesn't have troll drummers or anything, it's going to be very difficult for him. However, you can see that most of the cavalry of Lengo has also been taken out. The infantry fight has begun in full. However, the halberds and the Mornon infantry will be more than enough to deal with the goblin infantry. There are some heavy goblin spears moving in from the rear. Heavy goblin spears supporting the trolls against the orc fodder and maulers. Over here you can see the first waves of Gundabad's infantry coming in. You can see some Angmar marauders, some heavy goblin infantry who are Gundabad, or who are not Gundabad, who are which are, oh my gosh, if I can speak, who are Misty Mountains forces. But anyway, yeah, Angmar marauders look like they're actually going to be going after my Uruk-hai raiders. Don't want to engage my pikeline quite yet. He probably wants to engage my pikeline with his own pikes. So he's just moving forward with a lot of his forces. However, most of his elites back there are kind of lagging behind. I say elites, but they're more like mid-tier or above average units like the Guardians of Kundum or Witch Realm pikemen. Uruk-hai raiders against the heavy goblin infantry and Angmar marauders will probably lose, but they are being given some support from crossbow fire as well as some Uruk-hai infantry pretty shortly here. Some more Angmar marauders pouring in, but I'm going to charge out at them with my Uruk-hai infantry. And back there you can see Umat Commander just biding his time, waiting for the perfect opportunity to charge at my cavalry, which will be pretty shortly here. Actually, it might happen very soon. The Inquisitors might be moving in? No. He also does have some Snaga Stalkers out here. I do not want the Snaga Stalkers to be giving support to his own cavalry once the cavalry fight has begun. Over here you can see my line really struggling. You can see, although the heavy goblin infantry did rout, my Uruk-hai raiders are really getting thinned out here. So I'm going to have to send forward a unit of Uruk-hai Reavers to try to support this line. Over here my Uruk-hai infantry not doing too bad against the Angmar marauders, but there are a lot of reinforcements on their way. And the pike line of mine is doing quite well indeed. Over here though you can see that this line of Mornon infantry is actually getting broken down very quickly by the AP spears. But over here things are looking very good for Lengo. You can see he's got a lot of AP in here against the heavy goblin spears, who are really not enjoying that fight at all. The Drake Broodling's doing a lot of damage, as well as the rest of Melkor's cav, but they're starting to get targeted now by units like the Northern Shadow Guard, who I know he had. They're a body piercing ranger unit, as well as by the Temple Guard, who are AP. There are also some Orc Javelins over here that will be able to do a lot of damage as well, but so far Melkor is really starting to struggle. But over here you can see that I am actually also beginning to struggle because of the just amount of Gundabad forces pouring forward. You can see my line is really not doing too well. Over here the Uruk-hai infantry, I'm trying to support them with some crossbows. There's also some cav fighting going on right now. Some Warg Riders of mine and UMADs are fighting. I was going to use my champions to help out these Warg Riders, but I decided against it because the Knights are over here engaging my other unit Warg Riders. And these Wargs will definitely lose against the Knights, however, that is why I'm sitting over my spears, cheap spears granted, but still spears. And I've also got my own champions, the White Hand, going over there as well. However, because of that, it has led to the routing of my Warg Riders right here, which will allow these 48 Warg Riders to run around in my backlines however much as they want. But right here you can see my Uruk-hai infantry barely holding on against this huge amount of Gundabad forces. Uruk-hai raiders routing. Really the only where I'm looking okay is where I've got my pikes. So I'm actually going to have to commit my Uruk-hai berserkers, but oh, look at that, the ballista of Lengo fired right into this blob of Gundabad forces, but it must have actually hit some of my Uruk-hai reavers because it routed that whole unit, and that's going to be very bad for me. You can see I'm trying to commit my berserkers over here where things were looking the worst, but after the rout of my Uruk-hai reavers, I would say this is probably the worst area. And also my crossbows are constantly firing, I should mention. But I still do have a couple units of Uruk-hai infantry in reserve, so I will be committing them pretty soon. Snaga Stalkers routing, and over here you can see that the Warg Riders of UMAD are shaken, fighting hard against my Uruk-hai infantry. And my cavalry over here was able to do a good amount of damage to his general, but unfortunately I was not able to kill his general. Down to 21. I don't know what my champions are at. Champions are at 27. So yeah, all the support from my spears did very well. Ooh, but a lot of routing from the Warg Riders right there. So just like that, pretty much all of the cavalry of both myself and UMAD has been taken out. My crossbow is actually about to get engaged in melee here, which is not what I want. So I'm going to have to commit a lot of my reserves now. Again, my pike line is doing very good, but elsewhere I'm just doing so poorly. Over here you can see my berserkers trying to do their best to hold them back here, but because they're unsupported, they will take a lot of losses. So I really need to commit another unit here if I want my berserkers to actually pay for themselves. So I will try to do that pretty shortly here with some raiders that have returned from routing. Those Uruk-hai reavers are still routing, and the general of the UMAD commander is just running away because he does not want to, of course, lose his general this early on. Uruk-hai crossbows constantly firing. I am trying to target down this blob because it's the biggest blob. Ooh, Guardians of Kerndoom trying to exploit the gap in my lines here, so I'm going to have to try to stop them with my Uruk-hai infantry and Uruk-hai raiders who are both shaking. I've also got some Uruk-hai raiders here, but yeah, Angmar Halberd's actually going to try to flank around my Uruk-hai berserkers who are now down to only 75 men a unit. But then again, they were fighting against like 3 units, so it's going to be a very difficult fight for them anyway. Snaga archers here out of ammo, going to try to fight, going to try to flank around. I've got another free unit of Uruk-hai infantry though to commit wherever I want, so I will do that very shortly. But yeah, things are really not looking too well for me, or too good for me. You can see my pikes still doing good, but they are having to fight against a lot of units. This unit is pretty much free, but unfortunately I was not paying attention, so I will not be able to use this unit until a little bit later once I do finally realize my mistake. Over here you can see, however, Melkor has pretty much been defeated. You can see a lot of his heavy goblin spears running away. Most of his infantry has been defeated, except for this blob over here. So once Lengo does defeat that portion of his forces, he will be able to come over here and support me. You can see his ballista is still firing over on my side to try to help me out. Over there, the Witch Realm Inquisitors is now down to 18. I'm trying to chase them down with my wargs and champions of the White Hand, but it's not working out too well for me. But yeah, now that I have actually got a good amount of infantry over here, the Guardians of Kerndoom are starting to struggle. However, over here again, I've only got Uruk-hai raiders and my berserkers over here. And the berserkers are down to 45 because they have been unsupported this whole time. However, they still were able to do a great deal of damage, and especially because my crossbows are over here, it's really doing a nice job of helping out my line. Got some Uruk-hai infantry trying to take out these Snaga archers that were flanking around. And I've got my clansmen chasing down some Snaga archers, also with my champions of the White Hand over here. You can see the general of UMAD commander cutting down the last of my Warg riders. Oh. And there goes my general. I don't even know how that happened. He got killed when he was routing a unit of Snog archers, but somehow he got flipped right over and just absolutely died, which is very unfortunate because you can see all my units are thinking about routing now, and a lot of my crossbows are out of ammo. Ooh, but the ballista might be able to help me out here. And yes, there's a big rout from my Uruk-hai Raiders here, which is going to leave my Uruk-hai Berserkers once again all by themselves. However, the rout from those Snaga Stalkers will allow me to... Oh my... That was all friendly fire. The infantry routing because of that. The infantry and Reavers once again routing because of that. And right where I was actually looking okay, where my infantry line was actually rather thick, routed because of that friendly fire, unfortunately. So things are really not looking good for me because of the loss of my general. I'm down to only half of my men remaining. And Gundabad will now be free to try to surround my pike block that is over here trying to do its best to fight. However, Lango has pretty much defeated all of Melkor, so you can see that he is now marching over here. He's got some javelins coming over here to support me. But yeah, things are really not looking too good for me. However, the good thing about this is that while I did have a lot of units right, you can see them all running away. Because they had so many men left over in the unit when they routed, most of them will return. Like you can see already, those Reavers have returned, so they will be committed to the fight once again. I've got my clansmen about to charge into this infantry fight here to try to slow down anything that is there. 114 Uruk-hai infantry. I've also got my champions of the White Hand trying to take out those the general right there, because if I'm able to take out the general, then I may be able to actually still hold on to this. See, my Uruk-hai crossbow is about to be engaged by some Guardians of Karndum, which is fine by me because they were out of ammo. Temple Guard over here, AP Arrow is going to support me. The pikes have formed up a line here, and my pikemen still fighting very, very strong. So these guys were definitely the MVP, at least on my side. They were fighting for so long. I think I still actually have a number of Berserkers left over as well, just not very many. And there we go. The Champions of the White Hand and Witch Realm Inquisitors have engaged in melee. 25 Champions and 16 Inquisitors. Ooh. You can see it's a very brutal fight on both sides. The general right there of the Witch Realm Inquisitors. But I'm content to leave my champions here because I was hoping that I would be able to take out the Witch Realm Inquisitors. You can see that that is going to be the case, hopefully. And I really just want to take out the general. And since my own general had died, I was fine with leaving them there in that fight. My one unit of crossbows that still has ammo is still, of course, firing. I've got my clansmen over here trying to fire into the back of these units. My Uruk-hai infantry and clansmen surrounding these Guardians of Karndum and pikes. The Guardians of Karndum over there doing a good job of cutting down my Uruk-hai crossbows. Ballistic crew running around, some Angmar Marauders routing. Snaga archers routing as well. You can see actually a lot of Melkor's forces have returned to the fight as well, but they're a little too far away to do a great deal of help. Over here though, we've got some Angmar Marauders flanking around my Uruk-hai pikemen. But a lot of the Angmar halberds just routed, unfortunately. Yeah, my Uruk-hai crossbows not doing too well. And over here, there are only 4 Witch Realm Inquisitors left over, one of which is still the general, 3 only now. And I only have 14 champions, so definitely a very close fight, despite the fact that my champions outnumbered the Inquisitors by so much. You can see a number of my units returning now. You've got some Uruk-hai infantry, some Uruk-hai reavers, Uruk-hai crossbows still reforming, and over here, my infantry and clansmen were able to rout. Oh, maybe I take it back. I thought they were going to be able to rout that unit of Angmar halberds, but instead, Umad is going to be pulling them out. Maybe to try to support his general right there. Guardians of Karndum down to 43, Witch Realm pikemen at 58, and thinking about routing. Oh, halberds actually just going around my clansmen. The clansmen not good at all, so they were taking a lot of losses. They're actually going to get flanked now, but I've got some infantry back here to support them. Only one Witch Realm Inquisitor, and of course it's the general. My general died in like the first charge he had. Anyway, the Uruk-hai crossbows here now being supported by some Temple Guard will be able to take out the Guardians of Karndum. And there goes Umad's general. So that will definitely be the end of his forces pretty shortly here. However, his more elite units like the Guardians of Karndum that are at 112 will be able to fight for a while, especially because they're outflanking my pikemen here. He's also got his own pikes in here as well. Sauron's Will over here, though, their fear-inspiring is going to be enough to rout that unit. Snaga archers over there actually have come back from routing, and they're going to begin firing either at the backs of my pikemen or at the Sauron's Will right there. But a lot of Mordor's remaining forces are coming over here. There are also some of Melkor's forces making their way over here, but they are too far away, unfortunately, for them. And here comes a big rout right here. I was able to cycle charge with my Champions of the White Hand, who are also fear-inspiring, and that would be enough to rout all of these units here, which will free up all my infantry here to go over and help out my crossbows and those Temple Guard. We've also still got a lot of returning units like some Uruk-hai Raiders and some Uruk-hai Reavers. And I think I still have Berserkers around here somewhere. Oh, my crossbows are actually in here as well, my second unit that was out of ammo. And I think I'm pretty positive, at least, that I have some Berserkers left over. I'm not totally positive, but I'm, like, kind of positive. But yeah, over here, the loss of the general and the fact that they're getting charged in the back is going to be enough to rout the remaining forces of Umad's army. Mornon Archers going to charge into the back of the Snaga Archers will probably rout that unit. Yeah, Uruk-hai Reavers cutting down some retreating forces. Yeah, a very, very bloody fight there. I think that was Umad admitting defeat there. Yep, that will pretty much be the end. I've got my champions running around here, gonna help out running down the Snaga Archers here. And now that Umad has been defeated, Melkor's just gonna wait here, cause just wait for a final stand, really. But yeah, it was a very, very bloody fight. It was actually kind of funny. Me and Lingo were kind of joking about it that I could have either won or lost without Lingo's support against Umad, because if he wasn't there, then he wouldn't have gotten a friendly fire. But if he wasn't there also, then he wouldn't have actually been able to get the hits that he did have, and he wouldn't have been able to support me with his infantry or archers. So it was kind of funny. But yeah, it was a very, very bloody fight. You can see units just chasing down the routing ones. And we actually didn't realize that Melkor had a lot of returning units to the field, so we will be a little out of place when he does come here. Numenoran Lancers still routing. Goblin Archers gonna fire at whatever they can. Yeah, my pikemen were really able to do an excellent job. They're still at what? 89 and 128. There's actually some Orc Javelins in there as well. One Temple Inquisitor remaining. I've got my Dunlending Clansmen there. Yeah, I've got 2 Uruk-hai Berserkers, one of which is the Flag Bearer. But yeah, the Uruk-hai Berserkers, while they were unsupported, they were able to at least hold back a big portion of Umad's forces for a decent amount of time. But anyway, I think I will go ahead and speed it up now, because it's just going to be a matter of running down Melkor's remaining forces. These Numenoran Lancers have been routing this whole time, pretty much, I feel like. Heavy Goblin Spears, Heavy Goblin Crossbows, and Heavy Goblin Infantry, as well as some Goblin Archers. And some Ballista men as well. And some more Spears. Yeah, the Goblin Spears are a very, very good unit. I'm very unsurprised that they're some of the healthiest units that he has left, besides, of course, the Crossbows. Ooh, but they're getting targeted by a lot of the skirmishing forces of Mordor. Crossbows, though, going to try to help out in any way they can. Going to target maybe the Mornon Archers. Oh, can't see what they're targeting, actually. Oh, but unfortunately, my champions, the White Hand, are going to get in there and are going to be taking losses from that. Took 2 losses, actually. Orc Mauler is going to cut down the Ballista Crew, then go to the Infantry. My champions, the White Hand, yeah, their fear-inspiring with the Mornon Archers here is going to be able to rout that unit. And my Melkor's crossbows are going to get a volley off on my champions, the White Hand, and take out a few more of them. My champions are in the fight now. And going to be able to take out a lot of those crossbowmen. And that will be the end, because he just went ahead and admitted defeat. But again, it was a pretty close battle. You can see I did get 2,200 kills, and I actually got 1,000 prisoners. Lang getting 1,800 kills and almost 1,000 prisoners. Umad got the most kills for his team, and Melkor was not too far behind him. But again, I really do enjoy the Orc versus Orc battles. I think those are pretty fun. But anyway, the champions of the White Hand getting 117 kills. Warg Raiders doing okay. Crossbows doing very, very well. These guys definitely did a good job. And the Uruk-hai Berserkers actually getting 210 kills despite being very, very heavily outnumbered. 2 units of my Uruk-hai Infantry did well, but the other 2 units did not do very good. My Uruk-hai Pikemen did excellent, 192 and 322. And my Uruk-hai Raiders and Uruk-hai Reavers just did okay, but then again, there were a lot cheaper units. But anyway, that will be the end of this video. If you guys did enjoy it, please comment, like, and subscribe if you did not just tell me what I did wrong. And, what was I going to say? Wait, I think the 0.96 patch is coming out very soon. I think that it actually will get released today, which is what, the 5th? I think it'll get released today if there are like 50 Kuro face remarks or whatever on the comment that Kuro-Guro-chan posted on the official Reforged Discord. So if you guys have not done that already, make sure you go check out the Reforged Discord and put a Kuro face on that so it can get released today. But anyway, I will see you guys in the next one, so farewell wherever you fare till your irons receive you at your journey's end.